You guys have been doing the whole fan Q&A on Facebook. I'm going to attempt here to try to ask you some questions your wonderful fans didn't already. But so,
no problem.
So for the new album, would you say it's a concept album, or is each individual song just like a creation of its own?
I'd say the main theme behind the album is it's a bit about the human aspect of like the eternal. I'd like to say the eternal conflict between religion and spirituality versus science kind of debate. I think that's the whole idea behind it. We as the band, we're not really believers into religion and stuff like that, but we like to bring our own opinions about it on this record, and every song kind of a little bit touches that theme in different ways. But like we have a song called "The World is a Dying Insect," and this one is about the correlation between the human and the connection to insects, in a sense that maybe we're the parasites on this planet, and we're the ones that burning off all the resources and like reproducing and spreading everywhere. So like that's one of the outlooks of it. But we try to touch different themes, but that's what was the general idea behind the album.
Okay, and why was it so important to do a different video for every song for the album?
That idea came as a joke at first, because we didn't know which song to choose for the video track, and as well as the single track, we didn't know which one, because we had all different ideas in the band, so we asked the record label for their opinion, and they had a different opinion than us. And then we asked the producer in the Sleep, and he had also a different idea. So we were like, okay, what are we doing now? Like we had no idea. And as a joke, we were like, let's do 10 videos. But then the record label was like, man, this is genius. Like if you guys are crazy enough to pull this off, it's like a good way of attracting attention to the album and having people paying attention to the songs and stuff. So that's how it started, and now we're actually in the process of making all those videos. It's a lot of work. I think we have like 5 or 6 done by now, but we still have more to go. So we're flying to Montreal actually over the weekend to film more stuff, and we're trying to make it different and interesting. And it's hard because like there's only so much you can do, and we don't want to be in all the videos either because it makes no sense. It's going to be boring after a while. So some videos are going to be actors, some videos are just going to be images that fit the song. We're going to have live videos, of course, and we're going to have videos of us in the rehearsal room and studio stuff, things like that. But we're trying to make it different and interesting the whole way through.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like an incredible amount of work.
I don't think we expected it when we had the idea at first.
Well, with your new tour coming out here in just a few weeks, was there any country that was kind of left off the initial plan or the initial tour that you really wanted to visit and to play in that you weren't able to?
You know, there's so many places I like to play and to go as a tourist myself, and it's hard to make decisions on where we're actually gonna go, and then like we always kind of have the strategy of separating the territories, of say like going to like do Europe at one time, and then you do the States and Canada and some other time, and then the rest of the world is we put that in different category of shows, because whenever you go to like really foreign countries, like say Asia or South America and stuff like that, it's rare that you play like a big tour. You do like different cities. So we all try to organize it in a way that makes sense, so we can also spend time home with our families and be able to touch as many places as we can. But there's always going to be someone going to be happy in a city somewhere that we can't go because it's impossible to go everywhere. So we try to go as much as like to touch as many cities as we can, and we also go places where like we've been going for a long time and that we know do well, and we come and say hi to the fans of these cities. But it's also like half of those decisions are kind of made with the touring agents and all those people, and like we as a band can only say so much where we want to go and where we have to go. Sometimes it's two different things.
Yeah, no, you see that a lot. You hear that from other bands too. It just can be a little frustrating sometimes. But so right now you guys are doing a ton of interviews and, you know, the fan question and answer sessions on Facebook. What is the one question you really get tired of being asked?
I know it's funny. It's always the question about the new albums because like, oh, do you think it's your best material or is it the best thing ever? Like, and it's like it's the same thing over and over when you release a new record, and I feel that like whenever we do something, it's always our best, regardless. Like I always give my best every time we put out a record, and at that point in time, of course, I think it's our best album just because it's your latest work and it's what you're into and it's what we've been living this album for the past 6 months now, like creating it, recording it, and now putting it out, and I really believe in it. I really enjoy what we did, but the questions about it makes me laugh because there's always people that like different records, and so as myself, I like different albums from different bands, and I think it always has something to do with, say, you listen to an album that you really like at that point in your life that you always remember of that point in time just because of that record, and some of these records remain your favorites no matter what, and I think it's just the way it is, but some of those questions about it are funny sometimes.
Well, looking back through Kataklysm's history, is there anything that you wish you would have done differently or wish you could change?
No, yes and no, because like, of course, sometimes I listen back to some of the songs and I'm thinking, I wish I did that instead of that, or I wish we would have used a drum beat, or bring the song somewhere else. But like for the same reason of what I said earlier, I think at that point in time it was the best we could do. So that's how I look at it nowadays, and I think like every album was a lot of work and a lot of struggles to put together, because no matter what you're doing in your personal life, you have to put everything aside to do that record, and you just try your best with the circumstances and the like, sometimes the budget you have and the times that you're allowed in the studio and stuff like that. So like, you do your best and you don't look back, I think.
All right. Well, what is something about Kataklysm that you want fans to know that they may not know already?
I think we're pretty. We're like a blue collar kind of working class band. We like I see myself as an artist, and like I take the art very seriously. I think the one thing that makes me happy when I talk to fans and when I talk to people is whenever I talk to younger guys or sometimes even older, just whenever people mention to me that like we're his inspiration in the sense that he went ahead and picked up an instrument and started playing music because of what we did, I think that makes me really feel good, and I think like that's something that nowadays I really enjoy when I meet people and they tell me things like that. Like I think things that that people might not know about us. I think people that have been following us around know who we are. I think we're just a bunch of regular guys doing what we love. We're very passionate about music and what we do, and we take it very seriously to a certain degree. We're also people that like to goof around and do our thing, and I think it shows whenever you listen to our music or you come to see us play live at a show. It's just a good time, and we're here to share our passion with anyone interested, really.
Oh, well, what is the biggest change to the music industry that you've noticed since you started with Kataklysm back in, what was that, 91?
Yes, I mean, we went through so many eras and different things. Like when we started, the CD was coming out, and I think it was out for like a few years already, but it was still mostly vinyl and tapes, and when I think back in those times, like I remember us touring in a van, and there was no GPS back then, so we had to find our way with a map, and that's something that fans or people nowadays don't realize. But like things were different and harder sometimes in some ways. Like I remember like a big band investment we made was to buy a fax machine. to communicate with promoters and agents and the label and stuff like that. And there was no really internet yet. There was no like communications were really old school. And nowadays it's so different. But like the world changed so many times, and we saw scene changes, and we saw people working the industry come and go, and bands come and go. And I feel we're still here because we love it really much, and just experiencing all this. I feel we've never been like part of the trend or the fashion of the moment. So that's why we survived, because we're not really a trendy, fashionable band. So I think our fans aren't either. So we've been kind of coasting and did our own little thing in our own little world throughout these past 25 years, and I think in some ways it's our achievement as a band, because we managed to survive all these changes by doing our own thing and having our own little Kataklysm following us like from all these years, and then we have younger generation of people that would become fans and start coming and joining the family, and it's really cool to see.
Well, yeah, I can only imagine. Everything that you guys have seen. It's always a fun question to ask, though. Yeah,
for sure. Like it's like you're asking me this, and like my mind goes like, immediately at those times where we're stuck in the van guy, and we're like, okay, what now? What are we doing next? You gotta find a payphone to call the promoter to get us, and to get the instructions to get to the next venue.
I managed bands back in the early 2000s, and I still had to do things like that, and if the band drove separately, or if a couple of the members drove separately, someone would always get lost, and all my
right. Or just as crazy as like you leave you make a bathroom stop, and then you leave, and then you realize where you're missing a guy. But nowadays it's easy because we all have cell phones. But back in the day, like what you do, so you have to stay where you're at, and hopefully we find where we were, like backtrack, and it makes up for funny situations and funny stories at the end of the day.
All right, well, you guys have the line of hot sauce, and now you've got a beer in the works. Do you have any other, food or anything else coming through? Or?
We have, like, it's all kinds of ideas that we always thought it would be a fun thing to do, but also, like, lately we've been having a lot of people approaching us to do all these different kinds of projects, and really the reason we're doing it is because it's kind of like a personal trip or a personal like a fantasy, I guess, to have your own beer or your own like hot sauce. It's just things that we like or we appreciate. But the real main focus here is to try to get people's attention to, like, try to get people to pay attention to the music and the new album, and I think it's a fun way to do it. And at the same time, like, have like some family members or friends that would be like, hey man, this is great. I don't really care for your music, but I love your beer. Or I love your hot sauce, so I'm supporting in that sense. But mainly it's just another way to get people to pay attention to the new album. And this day and age, like anything you can do to make people like pay attention to music, or buy a CD or download or vinyl or whatever. I think it's good publicity.
Oh, absolutely. Well, what's the band's favorite beer?
I'm a stout guy personally. I like stouts. And like, of course, like when we talked about beers, like the other, I'm the stout fan. Everybody else likes blondes and lighter beer, so that's what we decided to go for with the beer recipe. But we're still tweaking it. I think we're gonna see the guy again in Belgium next week. We're playing Grass Pub, so the guy's coming there and he's tweaking the recipe. He's gonna have examples of different things to make us try, so we can choose definitely what where we're going to go for. But it's definitely going to be our own recipe, and it's not copied on anybody else. We wanted to get our own flavor.
Very cool. So for you personally, what has been your favorite project to come out of your personal studio?
Oh, I think there's always something I try to find interesting about like stuff I work on. Like currently, like I'm working for something for Seasons of Mist. It's the new Necronomicon CD, and I think it's cool because like I worked with these guys before, and then now they're coming back to me, and it's nice to see the evolution of a band musically, and then as well as like my personal take to it. Like I feel like you always kind of improve your skills at what you do, and I feel I'm better nowadays than I ever was, and to be able to bring my skills and to also help the evolution of different musicians, it's what I enjoy myself. And I always get some interesting stuff. Like I worked with E4, so mastering. It's Eric used to Voivod, his new band, and that was fun to work on. And like I do different things, and it makes me also. I think it's fun to be on the other side of the like not being in the band, but like looking at the big picture of somebody else and be able to be like, okay, I think we should do this, and bring my experience into play and try to help like different musicians. Like I really enjoy that.
All right. Well, one last question for you. Where do you see the band, or even yourself, in say like 5 years?
You know, like I used to. You would have asked me that, and when we started our career, I would be like, I would have been like, I don't really know. Like I'm hoping that things get better, that we play bigger shows, that we sell more CDs, and that we get to reach more people with our music that we ever did before. But now it's like. It's also like a weird question because we're getting older, so who knows what happens in 5 years? Like, like we're taking it a bit as a year at a time, an album at a time, and right now, like we want to focus on this record and try to do our best to promote it because we believe we really have a strong record in our hands, and we want to push it as far as we can push it. And then we see what happens next, like if we take a break or if we do another album, or because we all have families ourselves, so we all have kids, and like, we're trying to make everything work and like pursue our career, but also the family life. It's kind of conflicting sometimes, but we're managing to make it work. But like right now, I'm 40 years old. Like who knows what happens when I'm 45 or 50? I'm hoping that we're still going to be here playing music and here to stay, and I'm sure we're in it for the long run. But I don't even want to look at 5 years from now.
Right, no worries. Okay, well, that's all I have for you. I really appreciate your time. This is a great interview.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time as well.
Yeah, and good luck on the road, and I really hope to catch you guys somewhere around the the Midwest here.
Yeah, hopefully. Like I haven't seen the dates yet. I think it's a short tour. We're only going to do like 3 weeks, but I think we're trying to go across and play for like West Coast, East Coast, Midwest, and try to play all the at least 1 or 2 cities in each area, and we're trying to make it work like that. So I think there's stuff in the Midwest and in the New York area as well, and where we're trying to go a little bit everywhere. But it was hard because we couldn't make it like a long trek this go around. But we're gonna come back for sure and play more cities that we missed later on next year.
Awesome. Sounds like a plan. Well, thank you again, and take care, man.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.